Hi, it's Jo. So thanks to everybody that's liked my videos, really appreciated. Today we're going to be working on the strap, the cheek strap, which is a bit fiddly. It's got the buckle and it's got the holes where the little catch goes through. So really I've just tried to give you some pointers as to how to start and how to build up that quite solid effect so that it actually looks like leather and it looks a different texture and surface to that of the horse. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks very much. Okay, we're ready to go painting the strap here. So what I have done is I've just drawn in the lines of the strap so they don't get lost when I'm painting the leather work. I will do the leather work first and I'll finish off with the buckle because that's easier and it has the gouache, which has the quality of the opacity to it. It's opaque, so you can go over if you do smudge into the metalwork. It's easier to correct. So I'm using a number 1 here, number 1 round Princeton, and the paint I'm using is Daniel Smith's. It's a mixture of sepia, ultramarine blue, and there's just a touch of black in there. So the first thing I do is just literally, I'm just colouring in where the strap is, and you can see that I'm going to have to correct some of the lines because they're a bit wobbly. So we just colour them in first in this mixture, and then I assess to see whether I need to make them browner or bluer. And I think in this case we're going to have to go a little bit browner. So now, rather than go into a colour mix, I'm going into the lumps of paint. I use tubes, so going into the lumps of paint, and you can see that my paint is thicker, so it's not spreading as much. So now obviously this is going to dry lighter as well, so so this is the dark area of the strap, so we just colour that in this darker shade. You'll see that as it slowly comes together that it starts looking three-dimensional, and that it's got, that it's got the two sides. You can just see the side of the strap. So even at this point, I'm just correcting this line, but it will have a white edge to it. So you'll see that. Okay, and then the top. And it's already drying at the top here. Okay, so now we go a shade darker and we start just darkening that edge there, which is the edge of the strap. Can you see how it's already starting to look three-dimensional? So now I'm going to go in just a tiny bit of white gouache, and you'll see again that it starts taking on a solid shape. It doesn't have to be pure white. You can mix a little bit of brown into that shade. So let's start here. And you can start sort of knocking back the bleed. So where paint has bled into an area that you don't want it, you can use this this gouache just to push it all back. Okay, now can you see how it's beginning to take shape? So then you just do a really thin line just along that edge. And along there as well. Okay, so you can see how it's already looking pretty good, but it needs to be darker. So we're going to put a little bit more pigment, especially into this middle section. Okay. And you see how it's got a few little wrinkles in it. So we'll see if we can get some of those in. So if we start putting my brush this way, you'll start just seeing a few of those creases in there. the same up here as well. It's obviously where the leather has been bent a number of times or creased. Okay. So you can tweak as you go along. I'm just going to darken up that where I put the white on a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to work on the straps, not the straps, the little catches there. So again, we start exactly the same as we did before. So we just put some paint on. Now obviously these are going to be fractionally bigger than the strap because the strap has got to go through it. So we put really dark at this side. And then we'll lighten up on the other side. So I might even put a little bit of gouache in there as well. It's great for correcting mistakes. Right. Still needs a little bit of work, but you can see how it's starting to look consistent. So those wherever you put your shade has got to be consistent along there. So I'll just put a little line there. And then of course you've got to put your shadow lines in. So there's a shadow line there, and on that one. And then so it's all a case of just putting paint on, taking paint off, adjusting, working out what is correct and what needs to be lightened or darkened. So I'm just putting my little white highlight in there. And then I'm just going to do a little bit on the metal buckle. So this time I am still putting an underlayer in, but this one is a very watery gouache wash. And then we do exactly the same, we work into it. So you paint your buckle in. And then you work out, so there's a darker area as a mid-tone. So we're going to go with our mid-tone, which is about, and because it's gouache, because your base is gouache, it doesn't spread as much. So it won't just, so whatever colour you put on top of it is not going to just bleed everywhere. Okay, now I'm going to go with black. Right, I want black in there. So where the strap comes through. the strap goes round. And then I think the last bit, I just want some pure white. Just going to make a couple of highlights. I'm going to put some white. And don't forget the little metal keeper. And then just a few little highlights down here. Okay. I'm sure that I'll go and play with it before the next video, but I'm hoping that you can see how it's been built up. Okay, so I think there we go. I think that's given you a broad idea of how to paint a leather strap. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.